It is Miss Susan. Hi, Susan. I see your forehead.
I have to get up
There
a
you
little bit.
are.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? How are
Good,
you?
thank you. Thank you for having me. It's
Oh, thank you
exciting.
for joining us. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. This is the first time I've heard your voice like live.
I'm a little camera shy, so whenever I do stories, that's why you hear my voice. I don't like to show my face, but
Hey, you guys. Hey, bestie. You guys, my best friend is watching. Hi.
oh,
Hi,
hello.
Kelly. How are you? Susan. So we are so
Mhm.
excited. We're going to, you guys, and Susan has a treat for us at the end of our live. And I'm so, so excited for you guys to see it. Yay! Do my happy dance. So, Susan, we're going to go ahead and get started.
Sure.
My first question is usually pretty
hmm
same with everyone. What got you into sewing?
Um,
And who
my mother,
inspired you to start, or what inspired you to start?
my mother sewed. And when I was little, she would make outfits for my sisters and my cousins. So, like, the three of us would always have matching outfits.
Mm-hmm.
And as you get older, she would alter my clothes. I'm really short. I'm like under 5 feet. So whenever we bought clothes, my pants are too long, my sleeves are too long. So she always altered it for me.
Yeah.
And approximately 10 years ago, she passed away from a brain tumor.
Oh, I'm sorry
And
to
I
hear
never,
that.
oh, thank you, honey. Um, and I never took up sewing because she did everything for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just brought everything to the local seamstress and had everything done by them. And
Yeah.
then about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, my sister decided to adopt a little girl. So I was going to be an aunt.
Yes.
So I said, well, my mom is no longer here to make outfits for her. So
Yeah.
I better start sewing. So 6 years ago, I took a few local classes and I made this bag.
Is
This
that
is
your
the
first
first.
project?
This is
Oh
this
my
is the very
goodness.
first bag. I still use it as my grocery bag. This is the very first thing that I ever sewed from that class, and I still have it.
That is
So,
so cute. The first thing I ever sewn is somewhere in the trash somewhere.
so I sewed on and off for a couple of months. I've made that bag,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the time I was living in a one-bedroom apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and as my niece was getting older, I was like, wait a minute, I need more room when she comes to
Yeah.
visit. So we bought a house, and it took several months. Everything was in storage, and I didn't sew until about 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So all this time I didn't sew. So about 3 years ago is when I started sewing like
Mm-hmm.
for real. So that's how it started for my needs.
Actually, I remember on the McCall's Facebook page, you made,
hmm
I think it was a niece and me look.
hmm
Yes, and you had
That's
her next to you, and I said, "Oh my gosh, what is
and
that?"
you know what she said, Faith? She said after a couple of dresses, she said again. So so I haven't made her anything since because she doesn't appreciate it.
Look, I
All
don't
she wants
blame
is
you. It's a lot of work, and then they grow so fast. It's like,
yeah.
what's the
Like, you
point?
know what? Forget it. I'll make it for myself.
Right, right, right. And
Yeah.
you've been doing such a beautiful job. Oh my gosh, I love the
Thank
stuff you
you.
make. It's
Thank you.
like
Thank you.
couture.
Oh.
And I'm not just saying that. Like, I would just
Oh,
rather not say anything than lie. Like, your stuff is what inspires me to do better. You're one of the people in the community that really inspires me to take my time to make sure I make the right adjustments, make sure the inside looks
mhm.
well, make sure
The
everything is beautiful.
inside.
I mean, I think that
Thank
if
you.
anyone walked up to you and said, "You made that, let me see," they would open up and be like, "Oh."
Uh, my mother, she loved beautiful clothes. She would make outfits for herself, and she was very meticulous about the inside. So
Yeah.
I learned from that, and so I practice, and I'm still not perfect,
Yeah.
but you learn, and you get
That's the
better with
part
each
that
try.
makes you better. It's the learning and putting it into practice, right? Okay, so my
So,
next question, well, you already answered. I was going to ask you, do you remember the first thing you ever sewed?
well, I think of my sewing in two stages. So the
Yeah,
first one is just bad.
yeah.
And what really prompted me to start sewing again is today's my wedding anniversary. and before, and for my bridal, like getting ready, when they could do the makeup and your
Mm-hmm.
hair, I wanted to wear a gown, but I wanted to make it.
Oh,
So
wow.
this is the second thing that I made about 3 years ago, this bridal gown.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Look at the lace. Is that
Yeah.
lace?
This is lace.
Oh,
And
my
because I wasn't like
word.
doing couture stuff then, this is all machine stitched. So the inside is very messy.
Oh
I don't know
my
if you can
word. That's all right.
but
It's stunning. And tell your
so,
husband we said happy anniversary and thank you. Thank him for letting us have you for a few minutes.
no problem, no problem. Thank
That is
you.
so
Thank
very
you.
pretty. Oh my. If I saw you on the street, I'd probably drop whatever was in my hand and just stare. That is
So
stunning.
that's what I made for my, and that's what really got me started into sewing again.
Oh wow, I can see why. Jeez.
Uh,
Okay, so next question for you. I know that as I've been following you, you use a lot of couture techniques in your
mhm,
sewing. Have
mhm.
you studied that for a long time, or is it just something you started
Um,
learning and implementing into your projects?
no, I was always obsessed with the bias finding, the
Mm-hmm.
French and the Hong Kong scenes because I just thought it was so pretty.
Yeah.
And and when I first started doing it, it was a hot mess. It was just please. Oh, thank you, Monica. So I practiced, and surprisingly, it's not as difficult as you think. It's just
Yeah.
more you do it, the easier it gets. And I have a serger, but I hardly ever use it now. Or everything is just done with bias tape, either
Yeah.
whether it's made or whether it's purchased. So, um,
When I first did the bias tape, or did the
mhm.
Hong Kong, it would be so wonky because I wanted to finish it quickly. I wasn't taking my time. I was like, oh, this is too slow. I'm like, "Duh, duh, duh, duh," and they'll be wonky like this, and I'm like, this can take me a good 2 hours just to stitch this the right way.
so So the Hong Kong scene and the French scene by themselves is not considered couture,
Mm-hmm.
but the finishing it by hand sewing,
Yeah.
and I'll show you a quick demonstration.
Mm-hmm. You guys, she's talking to us and giving us demonstrations. This is a treat.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you,
you. So this
Susan.
is, oh, you're welcome. So this is the
Is that
green
the
dress
green
that
dress you
I
wore the other
posted.
day?
And I don't know if
Oh,
you can tell, but the shoulder seam here,
yeah.
I finished the Hong Kong
Mm-hmm.
with hand sewing. So you can't see the stitching.
Yeah.
Versus on the facing, I finished it because it would have taken too long. Do you see the
Oh, I
stitch
see.
lines?
It is so clean. Oh my word,
So
Susan.
that's the difference. Like couture meaning like you do it with hands, so you can't finish, you can't see the machine stitching and just doing everything in such a way that it makes everything
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. So I really enjoy doing it. I may not be doing it correctly all the time, but it's fun to figure out. It's like a puzzle piece.
Well, from
So,
my view, it doesn't look like you're not doing it correctly. It is so clean and
thank you.
beautiful. And I
So,
have come to like hand sewing a lot more only
mhm.
because
I remember
as
you
much as I
saying
want
that
to go through surgery or I want to like do lining, I find when I
mhm,
use my hand, I get it
mhm.
much neater and I get it precise.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And also, this is a sneak preview of what I'm working on now.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
hand basting is so important in making sure that everything just fits right.
Yeah.
So here I basted, can you see it with hand, the lining to the
Yeah.
bodice. So details like that, time consuming,
Mhm.
but they really make a big difference, I feel. And
Yeah.
I really enjoy doing it. Sometimes you just want to go to the machine and just get it done,
Yeah.
but you're not satisfied with the results. And this way, like I know that it's beautiful inside and outside. So I really enjoy it.
And it's gonna last forever. Oh,
Yes.
let me see that fabric. Let me see that
Are
fabric.
you
Oh,
gorgeous?
that is beautiful. You're
Thank
making me
you.
ready for spring.
Yeah, so yeah, I actually spend more time on the inside of the garment than the outside.
Yeah,
If I didn't do this, I could whip something out like in a few, a couple of days. But each project like this will take me about a week because the
yeah.
inside details
But
really
it's,
take some
Kelly
time.
said you can tell that you enjoy every stitch.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. I really do,
You
and I
and
love sharing that.
the look on your face, your smile, and Gypsy Weave says time consuming things are often so important. What's the big rush? Very true.
Right. That's true. That's
Very
true.
true.
Before when I started incorporating the couture sewing, I was just so excited about sewing, so I would just,
Yeah,
like a factory. But now I take my time and try to learn a new technique with each
yeah.
project. It's fun. It's
Yeah, I
fun.
think with knit fabric, I go through a lot faster because it's knit. But
Hmm.
I know with cotton or like I made some satin pants, and that took
Yes,
me
I saw
about,
that.
you saw it, that took me a while. It took me a few
I
weeks
bet.
because I hand sewed almost everything in there. I was like, these pants are going to last. This fabric was expensive. But that is amazing. I love your work. That finish on the inside. I can't believe you say it's not great all the time because it looks like it is. It's so
Oh,
clean.
if you guys get a chance, Peter Lappin, at Peter Lappin,
Hmm.
he does a series of posts about couture sewing. He took a couture sewing class and he
Yeah.
shared the process with us. And that's where I learned the hand sewing of the Hong Kong and the French themes. And I learned so much from just even watching
Hmm.
videos and from Instagram. Eastern European and Russian ladies are so talented.
Hmm.
I shared a few of them on my stories a couple of times. Their work is phenomenal. Like my work is compared to what they do. I mean, really. But that's what I aspire to. Like I
Yeah.
want to improve with each project so I can for one day become like them.
Yeah, I've seen his work. I follow him on Instagram, and I've seen. I'm
Oh,
like, I'm not
you
even looking at your
so
stuff because
talented.
if I look at your stuff and go in my closet and my past work, I'm gonna want to throw it on the trash.
And
Like, not
also
good enough. Not
Abby,
good enough.
Abby and Abby Matz, her work is meticulous. She's so insightful and
Yeah.
very knowledgeable, and she's been very generous with her time.
Oh
She explained.
wow. Oh, are
Yeah.
you guys hearing these names? So you keep a head up on these names. So when you're done watching, go look them up because some of them do have YouTube channels and blog as well.
Mhm, mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
so we're gonna talk about something else that I love, love, love watching you do: draping.
Oh my goodness.
Your draping is amazing. Oh my goodness, you
Thanks.
guys have watched, gone on her channel or looked on her IGTV or anything on her page and seen her draping. So my question for
I
you is,
appreciate that.
how did you
Mhm.
become interested in draping? Did that come first before sewing, or was it sewing and then draping?
Oh, that actually came by accident
Mm-hmm.
because this fabric that I showed you earlier
Mm-hmm.
is from a fabric store called Fabrics and Fabrics in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to go there and found a really gorgeous purple burnout kind of polyester.
Mm-hmm.
And I just fell in love with it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to see what it looks like on my dress form.
Mm-hmm.
And I pinned it, I went on YouTube and looked up how to drape a sari,
Yeah.
an Indian sari. And I posted it and I didn't realize like how much like a response. I was so surprised with the response. And Fabrics and Fabrics contacted me and they said, would you like to drape for us? And I'm like,
Oh
oh my
wow.
gosh, I've never draped in my life
Yeah.
before. So, so I like looked up on YouTube how. Of course, you say yes. I mean, you're not going to say no to this opportunity. So I
Right.
went. I went. Sure, no problem. So I went on YouTube. I learned like the basics.
Yeah.
Just so my drapings are just like a rectangular piece of fabric that I
Yeah.
put on the platform. It's not, I'm not trained,
Yeah.
so I don't really transfer that draping into a garment. So I
Yeah.
just want to make that very clear. I'm not that good. But I love to see how the fabric falls and behaves, which also helps me to see what kind of a garment it will
Yeah.
eventually become. So that's how it started.
I
And
mean, you
I
started because
developed a
someone offered you
relationship.
an opportunity. Some people
Yes.
are doing it waiting for the opportunity, and you started because of that is amazing.
So I don't do it often, but when I feel it just comes to me. Like I was like, oh, I think I want to try this shape,
Hmm.
and that's how it started.
Well,
Yeah.
do you still drape for them?
Not at no. They actually moved. They moved to a different
Oh,
location, so they downsized quite a bit, which is sad
yeah.
because all the stores in the garment district, they're kind of getting pushed out,
Mm-hmm.
and so. But I still maintain a very good relationship with them. They have a fantastic customer service, so I love them. I can't say enough about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So many people get
Yeah.
frustrated because they don't let textiles dictate the garments, you know, and that's true. As you know, too, Susan, I drape, and that's why I drape.
Hmm.
I just like to let the fabric tell me what it would be best
Right.
served, you know,
Hmm.
doing. Like sometimes you look
Exactly.
at fabric like, I'm going to make a pants, but you didn't let it fall to see how it's going to work as a pants. Is it too stiff? Is it soft? Is it fluid?
Exactly. And if it's a print, you want to see how the print will look on a dress form and see, oh, is it
Exactly.
flattering? I mean, how do the direction of the stripes and the plaid or something like that, how would that work? So that helps me determine what garment it will
Exactly.
be.
Oh my word. So and I was going to ask you this, but you've already answered it. How have you turned any of your drapes into designs?
Uh, I get offers all the time from people. Can you make that for me? Do you sell it? Yeah. Miss Utah
I'm
contacted
like,
me.
if you only knew what it takes. I've turned my drapes into designs. And when I first started sewing, actually, before I knew anything about patterns, I was draping
Hmm.
my own designs. I
Oh
learned
wow,
through,
you're talented.
what is his name? Nicholas something or another. I can't remember his name through YouTube. That's who I learned to drape through.
Hmm.
And he taught me how to drape and turn it into your designs and then how to cut it into your own
Wow.
patterns. So that's what I started
Hmm.
doing before I knew patterns. But then patterns was so much easier. I was like,
Oh,
okay.
absolutely, absolutely.
I know, sounds amazing. Okay,
Hmm.
so I do know that you're a doctor, right?
Yes,
So
I
what I wanted
am.
to ask, because knowing some doctors, I've learned that they're very meticulous, and I
Oh,
wondered,
some are, some are
does that
not.
play into your sewing? You taking your time and being so meticulous.
Um, I know some really messy doctors. But I think it has more to do with my father than anything
Yeah,
because he was in the military for quite some time. And growing up, everything had to be done. You were in the military,
yeah.
so thank you
Hospital
for your
corners.
service. So we had to get up at a certain time. We had to clean. Everything had to be done in a certain way, and
Hmm.
that was instilled into me. We're very young, so sometimes it's to a point of like obsessive compulsive behavior,
Yeah.
like this. But I think that more than like being a doctor affects how I approach
How
sewing.
you look at things. Everything had to be a certain way. Cause my dad was military too, so
Oh, so you know.
yes, he would like come around the room and swipe with the finger, and he's like, not clean. So when I went to
Exactly.
basic training, my drill sergeants did that to me. I was like, I'm used to it. Whatever. But yes, you're right. And see, it is Nick Varios. That's what I was trying to think about.
Yes,
What I
you
learned.
were the
Yes.
Project Runway, right?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I learned about it. And I saw him on YouTube and I was like, what are you doing? He's teaching you how to drape and how to measure. And I was like, interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I learned it. So,
So I
you
wanted to answer
guys,
this
I'm
question.
excited. So,
Oh,
Susan, you are going
yeah,
to give us a quick tutorial on your draping.
yes. And before I do that, I'm going to answer this question.
What
Do
is
y'all
that?
also? often find lining fabrics and supports interfacings can be more costly than the fabric. Yes and no, because for sometimes well, a lot of the times I use silk organza to
Mm-hmm.
support the inside of my garments, and silk organza can be expensive. But I'll share with you where I get my silk organza.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Metro Textiles, and they do have a website,
I was just gonna
and
ask that.
they often have 30 to 40% off sale online, and silk organza can cost about, about $30 to $40 retail. But when they have the sale, it's about $9 to $12.
Mm-hmm.
So when they have that sale, I stock up on silk
Yeah.
organza. Silk organza, you guys, is like magic. It's lightweight, it's so strong. So, for example, this is a top for a wrap dress,
Mm-hmm.
and where the waistband, where the belt attaches to the bodice,
Mm-hmm.
in the inside it's reinforced with silk organza so that I can pull,
And it's strong.
and
It won't.
it will never stretch. So, and at the armhole over here,
Mm-hmm.
when I do like very lightweight fabrics,
Mm-hmm.
I will insert silk organza in there
Mm-hmm.
so the fabric will never tear. So those kind of things,
They make a
it's so
difference.
exactly, so your fabric will last.
Oh
So
my.
so in that way, the interfacing and the lining can cost more, but it's worth it. And I try to avoid like iron-on interfacing. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, sometimes it is inevitable, unavoidable, and you need it.
Mm-hmm.
But for most part, when I'm doing tailoring and coats and such, I use like sew-on interfacing, which
Yeah.
take a lot of time, but they make a big difference.
Oh
So
wow. Thank you for that.
yeah,
That's a great tip. You
you're
guys give her
welcome.
some hearts for that. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. So another area well, going on with silk organza. So the skirt for the dresses, it could be very heavy and it weighs you down.
Mm-hmm.
So at the waist seam, you can also
Mm-hmm.
interface, not interface, but add silk organza,
Yeah.
and it won't stretch the bodice. So those are the areas. So shoulder, armhole, waist, at the belt,
Mm-hmm.
and then the belt hole for the wrap dresses.
Yeah.
Just stitch with interfacing. And when you add pockets to dresses, let me show you on my blue dress. Some I don't think pattern instructions even tell you to
They
put
don't. They
interfacing.
used to. The patterns back in the day used to give you hints and tips, but they don't
Mhm.
anymore.
Vintage patterns do, which I love vintage patterns for that.
Mm-hmm.
But where the pockets, um, at the seam,
Mm-hmm.
put a half inch or an inch strip of silk organza, and that will never tear. So
See,
those are the main areas where I reinforce all of my woven garments with silk organza.
what I've done is
And
I've used. I don't know if this, but what I've done is I've used stay tape and then I fold the
mhm,
fabric over. That keeps
exactly,
it
you can do that
intact. I've
too.
never done silk organza, but I've used stay tape. Then I put the
Mm-hmm.
fabric over, or I do a bias strip on top of the stay
Mm-hmm.
tape
That
to
works
keep it
just
from.
fine. Mm-hmm. The reason why I like silk organza is because it's so thin, so
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't add the bulk. The bias tape sometimes it's a little bit bulky,
Yeah.
so when you do especially with the thinner fabrics, but
Yeah.
silk organza is so light and so strong,
You
it
don't feel it.
won't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you
So
for that
those
great
are.
tip.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Those are the tips that I would really love to share because it makes a difference. So
Thank you.
in the
You
sense.
guys, y'all are getting some really great gems here, and you didn't even know it was coming. Ancy said poly organza works too.
Okay, I never tried polyorganza, but it's the same principle. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As we were talking about earlier, you're going to do a draping tutorial for us.
Yes.
So
Well,
excited, you guys. Are you able to pull the camera back so we can see the whole dress form?
um, better? That's
Okay, there we
better?
go.
So let me adjust this
And
link.
Lynn says silk organza makes a great press cloth as well.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So today I'm demonstrating with
After you're done draping with that, you can mail it to me.
is an eyelet, a full eyelet that I
Oh,
put. This is
wow.
on my. Yeah, isn't it beautiful?
I need to come back to New York. I usually go fabric shopping every year when I come to New York. I need a trip to New York.
Oh, come by and I'll take you fabric shopping to all my favorite places.
Don't tease me because I'll be there
And
this
some
summer.
of them give discounts when you're with me. I, thank you, Lynn. And this is one of the reasons why I like the brick and mortar stores
Mhm.
because you get to know them, you get to know the owners,
Yeah,
and you become friends with them, and they give you a little extra. So,
I love that. I've
all
actually
right.
been to Metro Textile when I was in New York, but I didn't know they had a
Oh,
website.
oh, yes, they do. They do. And like major holidays, they'll always have a sale. And
Okay, Kelly,
so,
thank you for joining us. See you later.
oh, sorry, bye. So this is 4 yards of a lace eyelet that I got. This actually was purchased on Etsy. So, all right. So please work really well because you can't put darts.
While you're doing that, so is there a specific type of pin that's best for draping?
Oh my gosh, I wish I could give you that answer, but like I said, I'm not really trained, so I use like the
Do you
pin.
mind if I answer that?
Oh, go ahead, please.
Well, if you're just draping a fabric for the simple fact of just to see how the fabric drapes, it honestly doesn't matter what kind of pin you use. The only thing that matters is the type of fabric. You want to make sure you don't use a pin that's going to damage the fabric itself. She's using the
Mm-hmm.
eyelet, so it's fine. It's not going to damage it, and it's a cotton fabric. But if you are draping to where you're planning on transforming that into a garment, then you want to use the very small pins, the thin pins, because it allows you to pin all over to get everything aligned just right and make sure that everything is in the right place when you're draping. So what pin you use depends on what you're draping, the purpose of draping.
Uh-huh. Thank you. I didn't know that.
Oh, that fabric. Oh,
Thank you.
oh, Monica said when she came to New York, you took her all over.
I did. There was this guy at East store that we both went into. It was so much fun, and then we went to Hi Monica, I love you. So it was you guys. All right. So recently I started like adding like faux sleeves to my
Hmm.
draping.
That is already looking like a red carpet gown. I just want to tell you that.
Thank you.
I can see why people are like, hey, are you going to turn that into a dress? Can you make one for me?
So that
Let
was
me
like
see.
a
Carol
very
says, I've seen a lot of people on IG who drape. What is draping and its purpose? Carol, depends. Draping is when you basically take a fabric, place it on your dress form, either to see how the fabric drapes, to see the movement of the fabric, how the fabric works. And that's really what draping is. There's different types of draping. There's draping to design, and then there's draping for fabric purposes. Did that answer your question, Carol? And look how quick that was. Oh my gosh, look at the pleating on top. Are you gonna turn that
so
into a dress? And can you make one for me?
actually I kinda like this. I like this
I
instrument
love
with
the
the
sleeve. It is
yes.
stunning.
Thank you.
Oh, and see you guys, and that's what draping does because I know when I've draped, I'm assuming it's the same thing for you, Susan. It inspires
Mhm.
me because there are times I think I'm gonna make a pants out of my fabric. Then I drape, and I'm like, you know what? This would make a nice maxi dress, right?
There you go. Like I actually like the way this looks. I might change what I had planned for this dress, for this fabric.
That is that. Oh, and the way the fruit falls. I don't know if you know when you were paying attention when you're draping, but when you draped it, the way you had all the fabric and the art on the fabric just forming in the right direction. That is
So,
stunning. Lucy, are you gonna
thank
post
you.
that
No,
tomorrow?
I'll post it tomorrow and say this is what I did in like 10 seconds and face is live.
Oh my god! So you guys, you see how that was? Um, she really just took the dress form and let it speak. Because a lot of times, Susan, when you drape, do you have in mind what you're gonna drape, or you just play with the fabric?
Sometimes I'm inspired by a dress and I'll try
Mm-hmm.
to replicate it.
Yeah,
Oftentimes when I get a new fabric, I'm like, oh, let's see what this does.
yeah,
And so it depends. And both examples are on my feed.
yeah.
So, hmm
Oh wow! And Carol, don't worry. I knew it was a typo.
oh, what happened?
You'll see it later. She was making a comment and a typo happened. She's like, "Oh my gosh." We figured it was a typo, Carol.
Oh,
We're all
okay.
friends. We get it. So Susan, like when you drape, do you just mainly drape full dresses? Do you just usually fabric just to see how full the fabric is? Because I know you wear a lot of dresses.
I do, but a lot of what my drapings are more fancy and party and
Yeah.
gala event kind of thing, which is so not me. So I mean, like, I would love to wear this, but to wear?
To
Where would
the
I go?
store.
That sells nothing.
That's what I did for my birthday dress. Every year I make a gown for my birthday, and I swear at the
Uh-huh.
grocery store or I walk
That's pretty
around. I'm
cute.
like, whatever is my birthday.
That's pretty cute. Can you imagine this? Supermarket, produce
Pull it
aisle.
closer.
Hey,
Oh, I love the Oh, I love that heart shape, sweetheart shape right on the left, and then the
Mhm.
shoulder on the right. You guys see this, and you guys see the oh wow the pleating she did on the shoulders. That is stunning. If you're going to turn that into a real pattern, you would have to take that and use smaller pins so that you can transfer it back on because you're going to have to
Right.
cut as you're draping. Thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Oh,
You're
wow. I can't
welcome.
stop staring at it, Susan. I'm like, I really need you to send that
Oh,
to me.
I'll post it tomorrow, I promise.
Okay, Susan. So to ask you another question,
Mhm.
are you working on any other projects right now that's coming? Are you going to be sharing that with us
Um,
soon?
well, this fabric was supposed to be a sundress. I
Hmm.
was posting a series on like an entire process of how I, go from choosing a fabric to pattern to
Hmm.
muslining and so that's what this was supposed to be. But now that I see it, I might change my mind. And and I'm working on this wrap dress. So once that's done,
You make the
I'll
best
share.
fabric choices. Oh my gosh.
Um, yeah.
I just want to like come to your house and go through your stash.
Please do. I have too much.
Oh, send them this way. So Michelle wanted to ask, what inspires you?
What inspires me? I have to wear scrubs to work every day.
Hmm.
So I don't sew work clothes. So I love feminine flowy dresses
Yeah,
because, like I said before, I'm kind of short and squat. So ready to wear wasn't ever an option for me, like pretty dresses like other
yeah.
girls wore when I was growing up. That was not available to me.
Oh wow.
So yeah, like I love maxi dresses, but
Hmm.
they don't make maxi dresses for women our size. You know that.
Right, they make maxi
So,
dresses and then I have to take it up or it drags
right,
on the
and then
floor.
change the shape of the entire dress. So, like, that was one of the first things I made when I started sewing maxi dress, maxi dress, because
Yeah.
I've never had a chance to wear them, and I still make them. So that's my inspiration, and always like ladylike, not
Hmm.
too like revealing, and I'm conservative in the way I dress.
Yeah.
So so I think Anita said it, Miss Anita. She said like what her ladylike.
Yeah.
That's like 50s, 60s, 1950s, like that kind of era where women really wore dresses and gloves and carried handbags. So that I love the vintage style. And I know you love old movies. The first time when I was really inspired about fashion was when I saw Gentlemen Prefer Blonde. And
Huh?
Marilyn Monroe, Gentlemen Prefer Blonde. And when Marilyn goes to France, Lorelai,
Yeah.
and she has this black suit with a white collar, you know which one I'm talking about. I saw that suit and I said, oh my God,
I've got to have it.
is she fabulous? Like, this is fashion. Like, this is amazing. Look what she's wearing. Like that, I still remember that moment feeling I'm in awe.
Yeah, that's how I
So
feel
that's
when I watch Betty Davis movies. She's my old
uh,
school fashion icon. Everything she wore was just dog.
So I still remember that moment to this day, like Marilyn Monroe, Paris, the white collar.
There you go,
Hmm.
Michelle.
But
That's
that's
what inspires her. Sydney wanted to ask you. She says everything you make is gorgeous. Do you wear everything that you make?
almost everything. In the beginning, when I did Instagram, I was so excited about sewing
Yeah.
and sharing. So I would make unpractical things,
Mm-hmm.
pretty things, but
Yeah.
unpractical. Now,
I feel you.
and I don't do that anymore because my time is precious, fabric is precious. I'm not sewing for Instagram. I'm sewing for me.
Yeah.
So I try to make more practical, everyday things that I can wear on the weekends to the
Yeah.
supermarket, to a date night. None of these gowns. I mean, like, it's fun to make them every once in a while,
Mm-hmm.
if I feel like it, but that's not my main focus. Like, I sew for me.
I understand
Mhm.
completely that. And I was just talking to someone about that. I was like, in the beginning, I was so excited. I was making all these wow stuff that just sat in
Mhm.
my closet and just
Right.
looked pretty.
Exactly. They sit in my closet.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'm so excited I can make this. Now you'll see me make
Mhm.
leggings or workout clothes, jeans and
Mhm.
tops and things I normally wear every day because time is
Right.
precious.
Exactly. Resort wear I still do wear because every year we go to Turks and Caicos,
Yeah,
and I love to like have like fancy resort
yeah.
wear, right? So that I still do make because that I do wear. But other than that, like gowns, ball gowns, like party dresses, meh.
I mean, when you gonna wear it, right? And
Yeah,
by the way, I
exactly.
love Turks and Caicos.
Have you been?
Oh yeah, my favorite place to go by far though is Curacao and Aruba.
Oh, I've never been to those places.
If you love
My
color
husband.
and it's just beautiful and
Oh.
colorful and so it's so low
Mhm.
key and just relaxed,
Really?
you would
Mhm.
absolutely love it there. And they have some fabric stores there too.
Really? See, my husband will not go anywhere other than Turks and Caicos. He got married there.
Right? But you guys, please give Susan a big hand and lots of
Thank you
hearts.
for
Give her lots
joining
of hearts,
us.
Susan.
Oh, thank
My heart is so
you.
happy. I feel so blessed that you came
Oh,
on the show
thank
tonight.
you
I
for
am
having
so
me.
overwhelmed with joy. Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed it.